Well, good morning, everyone, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Andrew Bailey, the Chief Executive of the FCA today. And Andrew, can I start by saying a big thank you for engaging in our Business of Trust programme. We've been talking about the 5 civic guiding principles that we've developed as a consequence of the programme. And my first question to you, Andrew, is if you had to select one of those principles above the others, which would it be and for what particular reason?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here and have the opportunities. I chose on the following basis, which is to sort of start at the top and work downwards. And I think, therefore, I choose value to society. And let me explain why. I think one of the things that we learned from the financial crisis is not just those of us in the public sector that serve the public interest. Actually, it's the broad. Everybody's serving the public interest. If you're in a private sector institution, you're serving customers. We're all serving the public interest, and we can't do it on our own.
That's a very clear message. And if you had to sort of select beyond, you refer to the fact that there is a hierarchy, value to society to start with, yes, and the others align underneath that in equal order?
So integrity is a very clear value. Then let's take clear communication. One of the things that we bang away a lot about is the importance of transparency, and it says be transparent. And I sometimes say, when people say, oh, it's really important to be transparent, to say, yes, and that means communication. It's not just a matter of saying, I'm transparent, you can see everything. It's how you get the messages across.
That's a very neat segue into my second question. We've been talking about our Leaders of Tomorrow programme and some of the recommendations that they have come up with regard to both the principles and actually the wider programme of the Business of Trust. And I wondered, is there a particular recommendation on the blue cube in front of you that you're attracted by, and for what particular reason?
The one that caught my eye, I have to say I did this by reference to things that we've been doing at the FCA for the two years or so that I've been there. So let me just say a little bit about that. One of the thing I did first of all was to work with my colleagues, senior colleagues, and then the whole institution on what we call the mission. This wasn't actually about reinventing what the FCA did, it was actually about being able to explain it, set it out, really communicate it properly in a way that could get across to people. And I said, we can't do our job properly unless we're well understood. And so we did that. But alongside that, I pick out values, because as well as saying, here's what some people sometimes call a slightly dry side of, let me explain what market integrity means to you.
Yeah, I got you.
You've got to back that up with values. And then you've got to say, and we started doing the work on refreshing our values in the light of the mission with our whole staff, saying, these are the values. The FCA had values from its outset. We've done our mission work. Let's stop and now think about the values. And then you've got to have values that the whole institution shares. And frankly, I think that your colleagues say, yes, I can see that we all buy into this. These are the values that we live by, and then we demonstrate those in the things we do.
Superb. Strength of values. I absolutely understand that message, which again probably draws us quite neatly into question 3. We've talked too about the complexity of this agenda of trust and building trustworthiness. There isn't a single light switch we can flick from off to on. But if there was one recommendation that you would make to the wide range of stakeholders with whom you engage, what would that recommendation be?
Well, it's a simple one, which in a way often can seem slightly platitudinous, but it is to start with actions speak louder than words. So if you, without wishing to be overtly critical, but if you go back to some of the things that happened in the wake of the financial crisis, I think we had some fine statements made by leaders. Yeah. But I have to say, those statements really didn't have the impact that I'm sure they were intended to have, with good intent, by the way, because they weren't grounded at the level of often of the institutions in saying, yeah, and we can demonstrate to the people we serve, the clients, the customers, staff, that all our actions are consistent with our words. And unless that's the case, it's not just the words don't have effect. I think they can actually become counterproductive, because people say, but these people just say stuff. They don't back it up.
Actions speak louder than words. Thank you. And that, my fourth question really is just around the programme, the civic principles that we've been debating and discussing more widely, can they help restore trustworthiness, rebuild trust?
Oh, definitely. I mean, as I know you've said, there is no single thing. You can't, there's no magic here, there's no single light switch that comes on. Trust, I've done quite a lot of reading on trust actually recently. I've been very interested. It's quite an elusive concept, interestingly, because we use the word quite a lot. And of course, in our world, there's trust in individuals and trust in institutions, and the institutions are in many ways the individuals, but the institutions, have a long lifetime, as it were, longer than any of us. But there's no single thing. So I think coming at this from several angles is important. Coming at it with, I think, institutions that have credibility is important, and showing that we care about it is important. We're not going to get instant sort of gratification. I think we all have to understand that. But this is an important part of what is a critical task. Because one of the other things I say, and all of us are involved in financial services, it's critical to the functioning of the economy and society.
Indeed, and demonstrating that sense of real investment in it at all times.
Yeah.
Andrew Bailey, thank you so much for engaging with our Business of Trust programme. It's been a delight and a real pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure.